The Galactic Council had always prided itself on knowledge and control. Representatives from hundreds of advanced civilizations met in the shimmering halls of the Central Orbital Station, a gigantic structure orbiting a star so old it had witnessed civilizations rise and fall. They believed that with their combined intelligence they could predict everything: trade trends, planetary crises, even war. But they had one blind spot: humans. Humans had been part of the Council for barely 3 centuries, a short time in galactic history. Most species saw them as primitive, unpredictable, and slow. They had little of the technological perfection other civilizations flaunted. Their ships were simple, their diplomacy raw, and their colonies small. Yet they had survived every challenge the galaxy threw at them, from deadly viruses to rogue star systems. No one had realized just how quietly humans could act until the signs began. It started with missing trade shipments. At first, no one paid much attention. Humans had always been slower in trade matters. Cargo ships carrying rare metals or advanced alloys failed to arrive at stations across the galaxy. Other species grumbled and reassigned their resources, thinking humans had fallen behind. But then colonies went silent. The first was Penter IV, a mining colony near the fringe of Council space. Communications stopped abruptly, leaving only static. The Council sent a relief fleet, but they found the colony abandoned. Machines were still running, food stores untouched, and the colonists' personal items neatly arranged. There was no chaos, no sign of struggle, just silence. Similar disappearances followed on other human colonies. By the time the Council noticed a pattern, it was already alarming. Yet the humans themselves were nowhere to be found. Inside the Council chambers, debate ran high. "The humans are leaving," whispered Delegate Ralvon of the Kratari species, his antennae trembling. "Why would they abandon their posts?" "Perhaps a virus," suggested Delegate Orvith of the Vantari. "We cannot rule out contamination. Humans have been known to be vulnerable to certain spaceborne pathogens." "No," interrupted Amara, the youngest human diplomat in the Council. She sat quietly, her hands folded in her lap, listening. Her calm presence contrasted sharply with the rising panic around her. "Nothing has happened to us. We are leaving by choice." The room fell silent. Every species turned to her. Some stared, others leaned forward, disbelief etched on their faces. "By choice?" asked Ralvon. "You mean a mass exodus?" Amara nodded. "Yes, we have made preparations for centuries. We are relocating to a new region of the galaxy. It is a peaceful decision." "No war, no rebellion, just a departure." Gasps filled the chamber. Delegates argued, demanded explanations, and accused humans of hiding secrets. But Amara spoke with a quiet authority that silenced them. "We have learned much from this council," she said. "But it is time for us to act independently. We do not wish to disrupt the galaxy. Our departure will be silent and organized." Outside the council, preparations were underway. On planets and space stations, humans were quietly dismantling what they no longer needed. Ships were loaded with supplies, knowledge archives, and technology unknown to the rest of the galaxy. Every action was precise, efficient, and deliberate. While the council debated, humans executed their plan with a discipline that was almost invisible. No alarms, no conflicts, no public notices. Ships departed in small fleets, scattering across various sectors. Trade posts emptied quietly. Colonies shut down in order, leaving no trace of hurried escape. For years, humans had invested in quiet preparation. They had observed the galaxy's weaknesses: the overconfidence of advanced species, the slow response to crises, and the underestimation of human adaptability. They had stored resources, perfected technologies, and trained leaders to act without panic. All of this was invisible to the Council. To them, humans were still small, insignificant, and slow. Amara watched over the process from the command center aboard the flagship Silent Dawn. Her calm eyes scanned reports and communication logs. Every fleet report confirmed what she already knew. The departure was proceeding flawlessly. The galaxy would not even notice immediately, but humans were not careless. Every departing ship left behind subtle safeguards, artificial intelligence systems to maintain abandoned stations, automated farming units to sustain colonies temporarily, and encrypted messages for emergency use. It was a quiet grace, ensuring that no one would suffer from the humans' absence, at least not immediately. Meanwhile, in the central orbital station, panic grew. The Council scrambled to understand the sudden void. Entire trade routes were disrupted. Projects that relied on human engineering stalled. Medical supplies produced by human colonies vanished. Delegates argued, blamed each other, and held emergency meetings. "Where have they gone?" demanded Delegate Orvith, slamming a claw on the table. "Every human settlement, every fleet gone." "It cannot be possible," said Ralvon. "We have been monitoring them for centuries. They cannot simply disappear." "They can," said a voice from the back of the chamber. It was Amara, calm as ever. "We always could, and we have." The Council could not fathom it. They had studied humans, observed their colonies, and underestimated their capabilities at every turn. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but they had never imagined humans could orchestrate a departure so seamless, so complete, that even the most advanced monitoring systems failed to detect it until the last ship left. Outside the Council, human fleets moved with purpose. Some ships traveled to newly terraformed systems, where humans had prepared for centuries. These worlds were rich with resources, safe from threats, and capable of supporting massive populations. Others moved to neutral sectors, places untouched by galactic politics, where humans could develop without interference. Even during the departure, humans maintained their values. They did not seize territories or claim systems from other species. They took only what they had prepared, leaving everything else intact. It was a quiet assertion of independence, not aggression. On one of the final departure points, a small colony on the edge of a nebula, Amara walked among the colonists. She observed families boarding ships, scientists securing laboratories, and children waving to friends left behind temporarily. There was no fear, only purpose and calm. One young girl, barely 10, asked Amara, "Will they be angry with us?" Amara knelt to meet her eyes. "Some may not understand, but we are not doing this to hurt anyone. We are doing this to grow, to learn, and to prepare for the future. One day, they will see that it was the right choice." As the last human fleets disappeared into the stars, the Council finally realized the extent of what had happened. The halls that once buzzed with activity fell silent. No alarms, no urgent meetings, no last-minute interventions. Nothing could bring humans back. Panic set in slowly. At first, the Council tried to ignore it, assuming humans would return. Weeks passed, then months. When the truth became undeniable, fear turned into desperation. They had depended on humans in ways they hadn't realized. Supply chains, medical innovations, energy systems, and even diplomatic mediations were disrupted. And still, humans thrived in silence. On distant worlds, fleets worked together, colonies expanded, and new technologies were tested. They had taken everything the galaxy underestimated: intelligence, adaptability, and patience. They had built a new network, one not dictated by the arrogance of the Council, but by the quiet strength of humanity. Back in the Council chambers, delegates debated strategies. They considered sending fleets to force humans back, but logistical calculations revealed the enormity of the task. Humans had anticipated every move, leaving safe paths and resources. Any attempt to intercept would risk failure. "We underestimated them," admitted Ralvon, his voice trembling. "We thought them weak, slow, insignificant, but they were patient and careful." "They were not careless," added Orvith. "They were humans." Amara, observing the council from afar through encrypted communications, allowed herself a small smile. The departure had been peaceful, deliberate, and complete. Humans had acted in silence, yet their absence spoke louder than any declaration. The galaxy had ignored them for centuries, laughed at them, and dismissed their potential. Now, the void left by humans was impossible to ignore. The Council would pay the price, not immediately but inevitably. The humans had departed in silence, and the consequences were only just beginning. As the stars carried human fleets toward their new home, Amara looked at the vast expanse ahead. The galaxy was full of possibilities, challenges, and unknowns. But for the first time, humans would face them on their own terms. The era of quiet preparation had ended. The era of human ingenuity was just beginning. And somewhere, deep within the central orbital station, the Council realized a truth that had been buried beneath centuries of arrogance. Never underestimate humans. The stars stretched endlessly before the humans, sparkling like scattered diamonds across the dark canvas of space. Their fleets moved with quiet precision, each ship carrying families, scientists, diplomats, and explorers. To any outside observer, they might have seemed like a minor migration, nothing extraordinary. But in truth, the humans were building a future the rest of the galaxy could not yet understand. Amara stood on the bridge of the flagship Silent Dawn, watching the fleet move in perfect formation. Her eyes scanned the holographic maps, plotting courses through unclaimed star systems, hidden wormholes, and resource-rich planets. She had overseen every detail of the departure, ensuring that every colonist, every ship, and every system was secure. "Status report," she said, her voice calm, carrying the authority that had long earned respect from her crew. Lieutenant Curran, her second-in-command, turned from the console. "All fleets are on schedule, Admiral. Colonies are secure, supply routes operational. No council or external interference detected so far." Amara nodded. "Good. Maintain radio silence. Let the galaxy wonder where we have gone." For humans, silence was a strategy. The Council had assumed humans were weak, predictable, and dependent. They had not noticed the countless innovations quietly developed over decades. Advanced propulsion systems, renewable energy sources, self-sustaining colonies, and communication networks beyond Council detection. Humans were no longer dependent. They were prepared. On the outermost edge of the human fleet, scientists were testing new technologies. On the planet Urandor II, a world humans had secretly terraformed years before, solar arrays powered entire cities, and water systems recycled with near-perfect efficiency. Robots tended fields and orchards, while children learned in schools designed to teach critical thinking, creativity, and cooperation. The humans were building not just colonies, but thriving civilizations. Meanwhile, back in the central orbital station, the Council was in chaos. "Every system relying on humans is failing," shouted Delegate Orvith, banging his claw on the table. "Our medical facilities cannot operate without human bioengineering supplies. Our trade routes are collapsing. Even our diplomatic negotiations are falling apart." "They planned this," said Ralvan, his voice low, almost in disbelief. "They left us blind and dependent. All those years we underestimated them, and now," he shook his head, "now we are paying the price." The Council scrambled to respond. They sent fleets to search for human colonies, attempted to trace hidden signals, and even tried to intercept trade routes. Every attempt failed. Humans had anticipated every move. Their colonies were deliberately placed in remote systems, shielded from detection. Communication networks were encrypted, rerouted through safe channels, and impossible to hack without years of preparation. On one of the new human worlds, Amara walked through the main city of Nova Primus, the first fully independent human colony. Buildings of sleek design reached toward the sky, powered by renewable energy. Parks and rivers ran through the city, maintained by robotic caretakers. Humans moved with a calm confidence, aware that they were building something greater than any council recognition could offer. A group of children ran past, laughing, as drones guided them safely along their path. Amara smiled quietly. She had always believed that the strength of humanity was not in weapons or technology alone, but in adaptability, intelligence, and community. In the council, tensions grew. Some species began blaming each other for failing to notice the humans' preparation. Others openly feared the consequences. If humans decide to act against us, warned Delegate Varnock of the Thowry, we cannot defend ourselves. We cannot match their strategy, their adaptability, their foresight. Amara, observing the council from afar through encrypted monitors, allowed herself another small smile. They still did not understand. Humans were not seeking conflict. Their departure was not about power. It was about survival, innovation, and independence. Yet, the void they left exposed the weaknesses of even the most advanced civilizations. Back on Nova Primus, the Human Council gathered to discuss the next phase. "We have secured the outer colonies," Amara said, addressing her council. "Now we must expand our knowledge and our networks. The galaxy is full of possibilities, but we must remain cautious. The council will not forgive their oversight easily." A scientist named Dr. Selene spoke up. "Our new energy arrays are working perfectly. The agriculture systems are self-sustaining. Even the AI network is functioning better than we predicted. We could begin exploring uncharted systems within months." "Good," Amara replied. "But remember, our strength is subtlety. We grow quietly, we learn quietly. The galaxy should not see us until we are ready. Our advantage lies in patience and preparation." Meanwhile, some humans were already reaching out to new civilizations. These were species overlooked by the Council, small planets ignored as insignificant. Humans offered trade, knowledge, and collaboration, building alliances not through coercion but through mutual benefit. Unlike the Council, humans valued cooperation over control. On the distant planet of Lyria 5, a small alien species called the Minari welcomed the humans. They had struggled with unstable energy sources and poor infrastructure. Humans helped them build efficient systems, taught them strategies for governance and education, and shared techniques to improve agriculture. In return, the Minari provided access to rare minerals and local knowledge of nearby star systems. It was a stark contrast to the Council's arrogance. The Council had ruled through authority, expecting compliance. Humans ruled through respect, intelligence, and ingenuity. Back at the Central Orbital Station, the Council was beginning to realize the depth of their error. They had thought humans were dependent, naive, and slow. In truth, humans had quietly built a web of influence and preparedness that no one had noticed. "We cannot underestimate them," said Ralvon, voice trembling. "They are not reckless. They are patient, calculated, and intelligent, and every system they leave behind improves quietly, even as we scramble to fill the gaps." Delegate Orvith frowned. "We cannot catch up. Our fleets are too slow, our intelligence too reactive. Humans were always one step ahead." "And now, they have the advantage of foresight," Ralvon finished. "In the human colonies, life thrived. Scientists conducted experiments previously impossible under the Council's rules. Children learned mathematics, science, and strategy, preparing for a future that the galaxy could not yet predict. Colonies were connected through silent communication networks, sharing knowledge instantly without the Council's interference. Humans also began experimenting with exploration. Small teams of scouts traveled to distant star systems, mapping planets, analyzing resources, and testing technologies. They discovered worlds rich in life, energy, and opportunity. Unlike the Council, humans did not rush to claim these systems. They studied, learned, and prepared. On the flagship Silent Dawn, Amara met with the top leaders of the human colonies. "We are no longer part of the council," she said. "Our future depends on what we do now in silence with intelligence and care. Every colony, every fleet, every scientist is part of a greater plan. Our strength lies in preparation, not in confrontation." Her words were met with quiet nods. Humans had long learned that the galaxy rewarded patience, strategy, and unity. Their departure had been just the first step. Meanwhile, the Council's attempts to locate humans continued to fail. Every fleet sent into suspected regions returned empty-handed. Sensors picked up false signals, only to reveal decoys. The humans had left nothing to trace, no patterns to follow, no weaknesses to exploit. Back in the shadows of space, the humans were already preparing for the next stage. Advanced AI analyzed star systems, predicting potential dangers, planning safe routes, and identifying resources. Humans tested new propulsion systems capable of faster-than-light travel with precision, silently building the edge that would one day place them at the forefront of galactic strategy. Even when threats emerged, rogue asteroids, unstable stars, and minor conflicts between neighboring species, humans intervened subtly. Automated systems stabilized planets, neutralized environmental hazards, and repaired critical infrastructure. No one knew it was humans who acted. Their presence was a quiet force shaping the galaxy. Yet, the Council began to notice subtle changes. Systems previously unstable were now thriving. Planets lacking resources suddenly had abundance. Diplomacy that had once stalled now moved smoothly, and always humans were invisible. "It's like they never left," muttered Ralvan, watching the reports. "And yet every system is stronger than before. How is this possible?" "They planned for this," Orvith replied quietly. "They always were planning, and we ignored it. We ignored them." Amara, observing all from her command center, understood the truth clearly. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries, dismissing their intelligence and ingenuity. Now humans were quietly proving their strength, not through war, but through innovation, preparation, and unity. And as humans expanded their reach, forming silent alliances, building thriving colonies, and testing new technologies, one thing became clear. The era of human underestimation was over. The Council had dismissed them as insignificant. The galaxy would soon learn the cost of that mistake. In the shadows of space, far from the eyes of the Council, humans thrived. They had left in silence, yet their presence was felt everywhere. Every improvement, every innovation, every alliance quietly reshaped the galaxy. The hidden edge of humanity was no longer hidden. It was only a matter of time before the Council, and the rest of the galaxy, would pay the price for underestimating them. And humans, patient and wise, were ready to meet that moment, not with aggression but with intelligence, strategy, and calm precision. For the Galactic Council, every cycle felt heavier than the last. The great halls of the central orbital station were still grand, still shining with light and energy, but something essential was missing. The quiet confidence they once had was gone. In its place was uncertainty. Reports arrived daily, and none of them were good. Energy systems that once ran smoothly now failed without warning. Medical facilities struggled to produce cures that humans had once refined with ease. Trade disputes that humans had quietly solved before now turned into endless debates. The Council had not noticed how often humans had been the unseen balance keeping everything stable. Delegate Ralvan stood before the Council, his voice calm but tired. "We must face the truth," he said. "Our systems were stronger when humans were here. Not because they ruled us, but because they supported us." Some delegates resisted the idea. "They were a minor species," said Delegate Varnock. "They should not hold such influence." "But they did," Ralvan replied, "and we ignored it." Far beyond Council space, humans continued to grow. Nova Primus had become a symbol of what humans could achieve alone. Cities expanded carefully, never rushing, always planning. Energy was clean and endless. Food was abundant. Education focused on understanding the universe, not controlling it. Humans did not build monuments to power, they built systems that lasted. Amara walked through a quiet observation deck overlooking the city. Ships moved smoothly in and out of orbit. Children studied star charts and engineering models. Scientists worked alongside artists, believing that creativity and logic belonged together. Curran joined her. Council probes have been detected near the outer systems, he said. Amara nodded. They were bound to come looking. Do we respond? Not yet, she said. Let them see enough to understand, but not enough to interfere. Humans had learned that visibility was a choice. Silence was no longer about hiding, it was about control. Back at the council, panic slowly turned into humility. Smaller civilizations began leaving the council. Some sought human contact quietly. Others simply withdrew, inspired by the idea that independence was possible. The council's influence weakened with every cycle. Then something unexpected happened. A deep space anomaly appeared near a major trade region. It was not hostile, but it was disruptive. Navigation systems failed. Communication signals bent and vanished. Entire sectors became unreachable. The Council's best scientists worked tirelessly, but progress was slow. Finally, someone said the words no one wanted to admit. We need human insight. The chamber fell silent. They left us, said Varnock. Why would they help? Ralvan answered softly. Because helping has always been their strength. A message was prepared, simple, honest, and free of demands. No authority, no command, just acknowledgement. The signal traveled through deep space, following paths humans had once mapped. On Silent Dawn, Amara received it. She read the message carefully. There was no anger in her expression, only understanding. They finally learned, Curran said. Yes, Amara replied. But learning comes with responsibility. She called a meeting of human leaders from across the colonies. The council asks for help, she said, not submission. Not control, just help. A scientist spoke first. If we assist, they may try to pull us back under their authority. They will try, Amara said. That is why we set the terms. The reply was sent. Humans would help, but only as equals. No hierarchy, no oversight. Shared knowledge, shared responsibility. The council had no choice. When human specialists arrived near the anomaly, they did not bring fleets or displays of power. They brought understanding. They studied the anomaly patiently, observing patterns others had missed. Within days, safe navigation paths were restored, trade routes reopened. The council watched in silence. How did they solve it so quickly? Varnock asked. Ralvan answered, they didn't rush. They prepared long before the problem existed. This moment changed everything. For the first time, the council invited humans not as observers but as partners. The chambers were the same, but the tone was different. No dismissive glances, no quiet arrogance. Amara stood before them, calm and composed. We did not leave to punish you, she said. We left because we needed space to grow, to prepare, to become what we always could be. What do you want now? Asked Orvith. Respect, Amara replied, and balance, nothing more. The council agreed. From that moment the galaxy shifted. Human systems became centers of learning. Their colonies welcomed cooperation, not control. Smaller civilizations flourished under shared knowledge instead of rigid rules. The council slowly reformed, less centralized, more adaptive. Humans never ruled the galaxy. They didn't need to. Their influence came from something far stronger than authority, trust. Years later, historians would look back and mark the moment humans left in silence as the turning point. Not because of conflict, but because absence revealed truth. On Nova Primus, Amara stood beneath the stars once more. The galaxy felt larger now, full of paths instead of barriers. Curran joined her again. The council is stable, cooperative, they listen now. Amara smiled softly. Good, that means we succeeded. Do you think they truly understand humans now? She looked at the stars. Understanding takes time, but they respect us, and that is enough. The humans had departed in silence, and the galaxy had learned, not through fear, not through force, but through absence, patience, and quiet strength. The price the Council paid was not destruction, it was humility. And the reward humanity gained was something far greater, a future shaped on their own terms. The humans departed in silence, and the Galactic Council paid the price best.